This story explains how one of the world's most powerful nations was founded, all because of some expensive tea and taxes. A handful of colonists, fed up with a king on the other side of the ocean, finally decided that enough is enough. This is how the colonists' challenge to a mighty empire began, all because they refused to pay taxes without representation. It all ignited after the empire's treasury was left completely empty following a costly 7-year war on the frontier. The royal court decided to make its increasingly wealthy colonies across the ocean pay this massive debt, sparking chaos. First, a tax was placed on sugar, then on newspapers, and finally, that hated stamp tax was even put on playing cards. Anger was growing in the colonies. "Why are we not in the parliament that is making these decisions for us?" they asked. On one cold winter night, a group of angry men disguised as natives dumped 3 shiploads of tea into the icy harbor. This so-called tea party was far more than just a simple protest. It was an open act of defiance against the crown. The empire was furious at this bold act and punished the bustling city by completely shutting down its busy harbor. These harsh punishments, far from frightening the 13 colonies, only managed to unite them even closer together. Delegates from the different colonies gathered in that great wooden hall in Philadelphia to agree on a common stance. The first shots were finally heard one spring morning as red-coated soldiers marched to seize a weapons stash. That first gunshot, which echoed on a small bridge, would later be famously known as the shot heard round the world. The colonies were now on an irreversible path and chose a tall, serious farmer from Virginia to lead their new army. This newly formed ragtag army of farmers and merchants stood almost no chance against the disciplined redcoats. During one harsh winter, with the capital city lost, that tall general planned a daring raid across a frozen river. This sudden surprise attack on Christmas night gave the demoralized army the crucial first victory that it desperately needed. Around the same time, in that great hall, a brilliant group of men were declaring that people have inherent rights. That famous Declaration of Independence, defending the right to life and liberty, was announced to the world on July 4th. This document was not just a declaration of separation. It was a manifesto for the power of the people against all kings. The war was now official, and the rebels were having a very difficult time against the well-trained Imperial army. Hope was almost lost as barefoot soldiers struggled with starvation and disease at that infamous winter encampment. However, a stunning and decisive victory in a major battle in the north completely rewrote all the rules of the game. This victory convinced the empire's oldest rival, the French with their powerful navy, to finally join the fight and help. This was no longer just an internal rebellion. It had escalated into a global crisis, a war between 2 superpowers. The fate of the entire war was decided in a southern coastal town, where a red-coated general was lured into a perfect trap. The army was cornered when the rebel army blocked the land, and the Empire's rival fleet blocked all escape by sea. As the British general raised the white flag of surrender, his military band played "The World Turned Upside Down." News of this shocking defeat in the capital across the ocean led the king and parliament to finally end the costly war. With the peace treaty signed on the European continent, those 13 colonies were officially recognized as a new, free nation. But chaos began after the victory. The new states did not know how to survive without a strong, single government. Their first attempt at a constitution was so weak that the new country was on the verge of collapse and fragmentation. The delegates gathered once again in that historic hall to end the chaos and design a completely new system of rule. A brand new constitution was drafted based on the separation of powers and led by a single elected president. That tall and respected general who had won the war was unanimously elected as the new republic's very first president. That wise old inventor and diplomat famously said, "Now I know that it is a rising and not a setting sun." The new constitution was completed with the famous 10 amendments, which guaranteed the people's basic freedoms. This revolution did not just create a new nation. It also provided the inspiration for other freedom movements worldwide. But did this new nation, founded on the words, "All men are created equal," truly live up to that promise in the future?